I'm really enjoying Godfather Harlem. I like the way that they're dealing with this Malcolm X thing.
Yeah, yeah. It sucks though to see, with how, Elijah Muhammad having him being spied on. So I know that was part of the history, or so they say. I was like, dang. And the guy who played him, I like the actor who played him too.
Yeah, well, I understand Elijah Muhammad because he kept telling Malcolm, and Malcolm knew from the teachings that it was a religious organization. It was not a political one. So I totally get what he's saying, you know. And Malcolm had them doing things that were not religious. They were actually doing things over there on in the streets of Harlem that they could have easily got arrested for. Like out there beating up drug dealers and all that. People say, oh, well, they're cleaning up the community. Yeah, but they really didn't have the authority to do that legally. Everybody would look at it. It's good intentions. It's good that they're trying to clean up their community. However, if one of those drug dealers or whoever the case may be could have called the police, the only thing, they could have got them arrested. And plus, Malcolm could have got a whole lot of people killed.
Yeah.
And so that's why Elijah Muhammad was saying, we are a religious organization. And so Malcolm really was trying to get people involved with, I'll put it like this. You know how he used to complain about Martin Luther King's nonviolent thing?
Yeah.
How he sends people into the fields and he just, the people end up getting beat down by the cops and all of that.
Right.
And I don't think that he understands what he's doing. Well, Malcolm, look, you're not doing anything too much of a distinction in what he's doing, because you got all of these people out here behind you talking about fight the white man back, but where's the guns?
Right.
I mean, that's the same as Dr. King sending people into the battlefield that he's talking about empty-handed. You doing the same thing.
Yep.
And a whole lot of Malcolm's ideas were rooted in his anger and frustration of not only the Nation of Islam not getting involved in what was going on in the civil rights movement, but it was a lot of that was just his personal anger about what he was seeing happening to black people.
Right.
So that's one of the
reasons.
He
felt powerless.
Huh?
I said, I'm pretty sure he felt powerless too. That's why he was kind of, he wasn't thinking logical.
No, he wasn't. Because if you look at, I know it's dramatization, but the last episode with him, Elijah Muhammad was walking, and you had those Fruit of Islam dudes doing them old fake ass stiff karate moves.
Yeah.
And all of that, and I'm looking at their moves like, you can't use none of that shit. And I'm like, yeah, it's definitely dramatization. But all at the same time, it looks good, Malcolm, but it's ineffective. And so I understand, because he was turning the Nation of Islam into a political institution when it's not a political institution. It's a religious institution. But all at the same time, Elijah Muhammad was being paid by this white man in Texas to keep the Nation of Islam nonviolent.
A lot of people don't talk about that, or know about it, rather.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of that before, but explain that to me more.
I don't remember the white man's name, but he was pretty much paying everybody to keep white people living, pretty much. But he was paying Elijah Muhammad money every month to make certain that the Muslims never got physically involved in the civil rights struggle.
And I guess now if you put it like that, that's another reason why when Malcolm X had said what he had said about President Kennedy getting assassinated, he got ousted because he was playing politics. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was like, nope.
Yeah.
And I can understand Dr. because it's like once you start bringing politics into things, everything goes to hell.
Yeah, because politics is rooted in violence.
Yeah.
You know.
Because even now, man, you go.
It's just like Hitler has said. The primary aim of politics is war. Period.
That's true. War and tactics. And even now, man, I know you pay attention to what's going on, and I don't know if you ever heard the term cancel culture or people getting canceled. Have you ever heard that term?
The what?
Have you ever heard the term cancel culture or somebody getting canceled?
I can't hear you.
I said lately. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said lately. Have you ever heard of the term, David, called counseling somebody or cancel culture?
Yeah, I guess that comes from that New Jack City phrase, cancel this bitch or something like that.
Well, yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, nowadays, because everything is so political, you can't disagree with nobody or anything. Now, if let's say you disagree with somebody because you don't support this gay or anything that women or if you disagree with somebody, they'll take anything you say now. As far as make it into a political thing, then that way they'll attack you and do violence, not physical violence anymore, but financial and social violence, where they'll kill your character or kill your career. And that's what we see now when it comes to the media. People who are celebrities or whatever, they get fired for disagreeing or just anything. It's like everything has become politicized. And what I'm saying is I'm relating it to what we're talking about now as far as keeping politics out of things, like even football, like the whole kneeing thing. I understand on one level, with the people and the athletes they trying to do, but I feel like a lot of times all this stuff that they doing, it should be kept outside of the sports or whatever. Keep that outside of that. If people want to watch sports, let them watch it without them having to try to make all these gestures and stuff. You get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like that Colin Kaepernick situation. I feel like that was always. I still feel that way. It's a big circus in a big suit. Well, ever since then, it's like now protest is like now is like a cool thing or whatever. When protest was never supposed to be cool, but now people make it like it's cool, and it has become political.
Yeah.
Especially with the young folks. You get what I'm saying? I hope you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, when it becomes cool, it becomes less serious and therefore less effective.
Yeah, because now they call it, David, your sons you can ask your sons about this, but they call it being woke or going woke. That's what the term they use. I don't know if you ever heard that phrase, so that's a new thing.
Oh, that's another thing that I didn't like about this last episode of Godfather Harlem. Is when Malcolm told Bumpy Johnson, get conscious. I'm like, God damn it! Why did they have to write that in there?
Right. Oh yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, I was like, huh?
I said, now these niggas are gonna jump on that. Get conscious. Those two words never came out of Malcolm's mouth. Never.
Right.
Get conscious. Oh my God. I'm like, why did they go there? Why did they have to go there? Well, we're trying to relate to the people today. You can't relate to the people today. If you're writing about something that was back in the 60s, keep it there.
Yeah.
Because considering all of these people that are conscious, thousands and thousands of our people are supposed to be so conscious, but the black community is still messed up.
It's a joke.
And it seems like with all of these thousands of people being conscious today and the black community being messed up, well, why was it was just less than a handful of people back in the 60s who were considered leaders, and our people was more disciplined back in the 60s with just a handful of leaders.
Right.
And then you got thousands of black people who are so-called conscious, and the neighborhood is consistently decaying morally. It made me think about what that African told me over there in Rama, Pakistan. when he was saying all that information that y'all have over there, you're allowed to have that information. They ain't worried about that. But
Nope.
we're the first people on the earth. Well, so what? What the hell can you do with that information?
Nothing. It ain't benefited us no bit. Just like, a lot of Negroes talk about the black man, woman was the first. We got the best this, the best that. But I'm like, if we are this and that, we ain't doing nothing with it tangibly.
Who cares? Who cares?
It's all a form of masturbation, mental masturbation by these Negroes to feel good.
So stupid. That's why I keep myself separated from all of that.
Yeah.
Because considering everything that I went through with Salam, who was supposed to be so conscious and energy this and energy that, you saw the way she treated me.
Yeah, like nothing.
Yeah, so that state of mind it's all fictitious information, and it has no morals in it anywhere, because most of the people that I've come in contact with who talk like that don't know how to treat people. And then when they get hit with a problem, they totally lose it. So if this information doesn't contain any form of discipline in it, then what good is it? It sounds good.
It's just, like I said, more mental masturbation.
Mm-hmm. Because I was talking to Richard the other day, and me and Kathy was on our way to go get some gas, and we don't live that far from Salam, and so as we was driving past her house, she had her truck as she used to have it parked in front of the house, and I felt so much misery coming from that house. And I'm like, okay, is it coming from the house, or is this just me? No, because I've let it all go. This was coming from the house. Now here's the Jehovah's Witness man who was Richard, that I was telling Richard this about. I'm like, she's miserable. He said, how do you know she's miserable? I said, you know what? I would expect that question to come from a religious man. Somebody who is not able to feel anything other than this stagnant information that they accumulate all the time. Because religious people don't know how to feel anything, because they're pretty much robots. But
right.
considering him being her next door neighbor, and considering him knowing how I was treated over there, and if I'm saying she's miserable, how can you deny that?
You can't.
How can you deny that? I mean, how can you ask me, how do you know she's miserable? What? Are you serious? Somebody who try to starve you to death? Somebody who tries to freeze you to death by not turning the heat on in the wintertime, and she goes and she buys a portable heater for this white dude that's staying there to keep him warm, but downstairs didn't give a damn if I was freezing.
Right.
Now this is somebody who's supposed to be so conscious, and this whole conscious thing is rooted in being black.
Yeah.
But here's a black man who gave up everything. This was somebody who you was talking about married and blah blah blah, who didn't do a damn thing to you, and you're trying to freeze him to death, and then put a plastic thing over the thermostat with a key. I don't even know if I sent you a picture of that. I'm gonna have to send you a picture of that. She had Mr. Crutcher come over and put a plastic thing over the thermostat so that I wouldn't even be able to turn the heat on. And then left with Mr. Crutcher for 5 hours and laid up with him. Conscious though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's scandalous.
So my whole thing is, what good is it to have this information if you fall on the inside? If the information is not affecting you in a way to where it exhausts you it elevates you morally, then the information is stagnant.
Yep.
Because the more elevated you are with information, you should be morally elevated at the same time. And if it doesn't elevate you morally, then you need to question the information that you are taking in, because that's the whole purpose of accumulating, taking in information. It's supposed to have some type of moral effect on your behavior, and therefore, on your thinking, and therefore your feelings, and therefore your behavior.
You're right.
And if it's not doing that, then you need to question where the information is coming from. And 9 times out of 10, it's coming from someone who has always been culturally your enemy. This is what the African was telling me over in Pakistan. Because if you look at a lot of the books that are on the shelves right now, for some strange reason, you see a lot of these books don't really contain a whole lot of pictures anymore.
A lot of people, you're right. That a lot of books don't. And what's the agenda behind it?
Well, they just putting information out there, and they're not putting any face on the books, a face on the author as far as who wrote it. So this is why he was saying that information that you guys are getting, you are allowed to have that information. And if you're allowed to have that information, then that's government, baby. That's government. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they know that this particular information, because see, these people who work for the government, these people are very wise.
Yeah, wicked, like you always say, wickedly intelligent.
Well, the whole thing is they know what type of information is going to be an endangerment to them, and what information sounds like it could be an endangerment, but it's actually not, because black people don't have the resources or the will to even accumulate these resources, because our people have been made dependent upon the government for everything. So, and if these people do have access to guns, they're not going to have access to guns in a real high number because of the disunity in the community. So they ain't worried about us. These people are not worried about us. So having all of this information, like I said, is to me that information, the information that you have, is actually good for the individual. But as far as a whole lot of our people are going around trying to wake everybody up, so everybody can come together. If you really look at the information for what it is, it's not information that's going to bring unity.
Nope.
The information that a whole lot of our people are getting today is simply for self. Now, if you take that information and you apply it to yourself and you apply it to your life, then you'll be successful.
Right.
But if you're looking for this particular information to bring about unity, it's not going to happen, because the information itself, due to the fact that it's rooted in these two clashing distinctions, positive and negative, which are nothing but point of views, you're not going to have any unity when you have an information that contains these two opposing components.
Right.
You're not, because due to the fact that they're point of views, you're always going to have people arguing. Well, it's positive to me. Yeah, well, it's negative to me. And seeing, as long as they got you bouncing back and forth playing psychological ping pong with this type of information, they ain't worried about you.
Not at all.
That's one of the primary reasons why they created religion and politics as a whole. See, this is deeper than people realize. They are not worried about black people. See, because another thing, basically, a whole lot of the information that a lot of our people are getting, they say it's waking up our people. No, it's actually putting you further to sleep.
And that's another reason why, you remember back in 2009 and 10, or more so 10, you remember I always give you credit for being like the catalyst for me leaving the whole Israelite movement alone.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back then I was getting real fresh. I was like, dang, all this information, we supposed to be this and that, but I'm like, all this information, I'm looking at it, it's like, it ain't bringing no real true change. It just made us even worse than we were before we got this knowledge.
Right.
I'm like, this can't be real.
Mm-mm.
And I remember you talking about that back then, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't give you the incentive to produce anything because you're cursed.
Yeah, not only that, you wait for God to come save you. So what's the point? What's the point in doing anything if God in the sky gonna do it for you?
Yeah. And they say, well, it's to inspire you, but wait on God. That's an oxymoron. How come I gotta wait on God? So you're inspiring. You know, if you're inspiring anything in me, you're inspiring in me unproductivity because you're telling me you're inspiring me to wait on God. So the only thing you inspire me to do is wait.
Yup.
You know, so it really doesn't have any ingredient of any incentive to produce anything for yourself.
I agree.
You know, and that's what religion does. It does a whole lot of nothing. It does a whole lot of nothing. You know, so it's a lot of information out there, but it's not for unity.
Nope, not at all.
You know, and these frequencies and vibrations and oh my God. Next. I'll be deleting people that even talk like that now. I catch somebody talking about frequencies, doop, delete. You know, they send me a friend request and I read through their stuff. The only thing, you know, if I start seeing these vibrations, elevate your vibrations, delete. Deny. I mean, putting that bullet, I don't want no associations with that. You know, because if you feel as though you have to use these, I mean, if it's always these words being mentioned 3 or 4 times out of a paragraph, that's a turn off to me. You should be able to express yourself, and if I hear one vibration, that's fine, you know, but you have to elevate your frequencies and your vibrations and no. I gotta go. I can't sit here and listen to this.
Right.
You know, because that's indoctrination. That's all that is. And when you allow yourself to be indoctrination, you bury your own sense of intelligence. You pretty much open up a grave and you throw your intelligence in, and you throw that dirt that you're talking over your own intelligence. You bury yourself. Because when it all boils down to it, if you don't know how to treat people, it really doesn't matter how much you know if you don't know how to treat people. If any information does not elevate you to the point to where you have a will to be more courteous, more understanding, and more compassionate, and more will to stand up for what is right, then what you walking around with this information for?
You're right. I agree. And, you know, because every time, you know, I would accumulate more information, it would always make me more loving, more honorable, more caring, more considerate. Mm-hmm. So I agree with a lot. But I see with a lot of people that we deal with or that we know, it has caused them to be the opposite or the inverse of that. So I'm like, something is wrong. They processing it wrong or something, because information and knowledge shouldn't make you less than. It should make you more.
It's angry. You know, it's like most of them are so angry all the damn time. You know, they're angry all the time. Now look, truth doesn't affect the human being like that. You know, truth and clarity brings about humility, because humility is a sign of being in the know, to the point to where you no longer have to question anything. And when you're questioning something, it means you're suffering, because you want to know the truth. I'm trying to find out the truth. And so you're suffering. And if you are at least humble while you're suffering, And you're getting this information. Once you get the information, then that puts you in a state of humility. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
When you're going through the information, you have to be humble because you have to have a state of being to where you're able to process this information in a way to where even if you read something that makes you angry, it doesn't totally succumbs you to the point to where you lose your intelligence altogether, and you become more emotional in your expression than logical.
You're right.
You know, all I see is that's like Kathy. Kathy can sit up and talk to somebody. I can listen to this woman sit up and talk to somebody, and all I hear is intelligence. That's all I hear. She never gets angry. You know, she can sit up and educate somebody and keep that state of humility. She is the only black woman that I've ever met who says that she's conscious and is not angry. Seriously. She doesn't walk around angry all the time. She's full of love and compassion. Everybody else outside of her, Salam, all these other women that I've come in contact with who say that they're conscious, they ain't nothing but some bitches. Full of hell.
Yeah.
Look at that light skinned guy. Sadie, Sufa Sadie or whatever the hell he
Yeah, sorry about that nigga.
Yeah. You see how out of control he is and how ignorant he is?
Oh yeah. I remember back in the day, I used to watch a lot of his videos back in 2009 and 10, but I got out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Cause all he does is cuss. You know, he's nigga intelligent. That's what I consider him, nigga intelligent.
Yeah.
I know you know what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean that's how you can identify it, even though it really don't exist.
Right.
You know.
Most black conscious people are. That's what I would consider them nigga intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But she's the only woman that I've ever seen who can sit up and talk to you for 2 and 3 hours. And she's humble, and she's helped me get through a lot of things. You know, she's helped me understand a lot of things. You know, but when you talk to Salam, all you hear is negative, positive energies and frequencies, and you have to, you know, lift vibrations and all of that. Oh, bitch, you talking dialogue. Put some of your own intelligence in there somewhere. You know,
right.
And look at her. She's walking around here sleeping with a whole lot of different dudes, trying to starve people to death and all of that. But you got the facts? No, you don't. You insane. You got black people out here about to kill each other over a chicken sandwich, but everybody is so conscious. Over a chicken sandwich. These Negroes are out here going crazy about a chicken sandwich. It's a shame. It's a real shame. But I do like the way, like I was saying, I like the way that they're dealing with that Malcolm thing, you know, because it's starting to make sense now, and I can tell that they had talked to some people who were a little bit further on the inside,
right,
on what actually went down, because to me it totally makes sense. You know, and I can understand, you know, him wanting to get the Nation of Islam involved in the civil rights struggle, but the Nation of Islam wasn't designed for that. It wasn't designed for that.
Not at all.
You know, that's strictly to, like Elijah Muhammad had said, that was simply to convert black people to Islam, because Islam contains within it a high sense of discipline and moral standards that black people in this country needed at the time and still need.
Yeah, we need it more now than we did back then, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't need the religion.
And to me, Islam is simply a religion that reminds people of how they should be. Now, if you take the whole Islam religion away, and if you keep the moral standards, that's how you should be anyway.
Right.
You know, so what they did was they just took certain common natural moral standards and they shoved it inside of a religion, and they consecrated it and told you that in order for you to be this particular way, then you have to submit to this religion. Well, you're already that way. You just been buried by way of social engineering in this environment. That's pretty much all it is. That's why I was telling somebody not too long ago. I think we talked about this. We was talking about the dark side, and I was saying that a lot of people are moving towards their dark side for a good reason, because the other side that is considered the good side has too much limitations on it. It's got commandments, it's got laws that you have to abide by, and all of that. But when you start moving towards your dark side, and if you have good intentions, then what is considered dark can actually work out for you.
Yeah.
Because you're not bounded by laws and commandments and all of that. So it sure makes you question. It sure makes you wonder, like, is good really good, or has this been switched?
Yeah. As somebody would say, is God really the devil? And is the devil God? I don't know if you ever heard that phrase before.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the whole thing of darkness. It's like, because even in the Bible, when everything was in darkness, you didn't have all these problems. It's then as soon as he said, "Let there be light," here you got war, conflict, racism, floods, and all of this stuff. Well, maybe we should just stay in darkness, because it seems like while everything was in darkness, everything was at peace. It seems like all of this madness started as soon as he said, "Let there be light." It just seems like everything went to hell.
Right.
When that happened.